Hello everybody and welcome to the Event Industry News podcast with me, James Dickson. Wishing all a very good morning, afternoon or evening, wherever or whenever you join today's podcast from. And as you can see, I'm not in my usual home, sat at an upright piano in my living room, which is where I usually record these podcasts. I'm in a lovely Evolution Dome structure, live from their exhibition stand at Confex 2026 here at XL in London. We're on day 2 of the show here, and a big thanks first of all to Ash and all the team at Evolution Dome for letting us hijack their lovely little inflatable pod here to record some of our podcasts at Confex today. So yeah, great to be here, great to be back out on the road, and great to take advantage of the fact that we've got some, event people everywhere, frankly, today, and talking a little bit, first of all, to kick off our first recording of the day, about training and development in the industry. Events like this, particularly on day 2, actually, it's quite apt, are often the days when students, people coming into the industry, are able to come to shows like this and visit and talk to exhibitors, talk to professionals, do a bit of networking. So it won't be uncommon for us to sort of have a walk around the show floor today and maybe see some of those people. And my guests today are going to be talking a little bit about that subject and people finding their way into the industry, training and development. First of all, we've got Fran Starkie, just to my right. Fran,
Hello.
A very good morning to you.
Good morning, James. How are you?
Not too bad at all, thank you very much. Thanks for being here. Fran is the Head of Talent Development and Producer, is the job title. Joe Chilvers is to my right as well. Joe, good morning.
Hi, morning.
And you are the founder, both from the production department and the training department.
Yes.
You tell me, Fran, let's kick off first of all. Where are you guys from?
Absolutely. So obviously we're from the production department and the training department. The production department is a flexible resource agency that works with all of the big agencies across the globe to deliver events. And the training department is our new initiative that we launched at the end of last year to get new people into the industry. And we've launched a series of 9 training courses for corporate production management specifically.
Specifically for corporate production management. Quite a niche sector there. I say niche, it's a huge sector financially, Joe, but in the realms of sort of the wider events industry, that's a very specific marketplace to concentrate on. Why the thinking?
Yeah, because I don't think there is anything else like this in the industry, events industry, which focuses on the corporate market. The corporate market takes up quite a huge percentage of the event overall spend, especially for UK, but globally as well. And actually, there's so much which is incorporated in corporate events. It's huge. It can be a music festival. It can be a hospitality at sporting events. It can be a conference, but it also can be a big exhibition stand, or it could be putting up 20 inflatable rooms in an exhibition centre. All of it is varied.
You're absolutely right to highlight that, because I'm familiar with corporate events. I was working on one yesterday. It was for a pharmaceutical company. It was very much a sort of a corporate conference, daytime for senior managers. But I've also done evening events, Christmas parties and things like that. And I guess for some younger people, Fran, who are coming into the events industry and who see, dare I say it, the music festival, the music side of things, and say, I'd love to work in events. Sometimes the corporate sector might not seem immediately as the most sort of glamorous thing that they want to get into, but the reality is that for a lot of people, that's really where the bread and butter of making a living in the industry can be.
Exactly, and I think it's a really exciting place to be. And we often get this when we're speaking to students that are looking for that next role, that next job. They want to do those sexy music festivals. But actually corporate, as Joe mentioned before, it is so varied. You get to do all of that. The Cisco live party is enormous. It's huge. It's still got that music element. It's got corporate stands. And actually most of the time, the corporates are the ones where that new technology is kind of tested and delivered first. So, it's really, really varied. So it's definitely an area that you should consider.
Yeah, absolutely. How's the structure of the course going to manifest itself, Joe?
So it's on a module basis. So we've designed it so people can learn whilst they work as well. It's what we're trying to do is reduce the barrier to entry as best we can. And whether that's a transition from university into the corporate event market or completely fresh straight into the corporate event market. Our aim is to actually educate people and build a community for them to thrive. So it's all a symbiotic relationship, and that's why we've got partnerships with people like Illusion, with Creative Technology. We've just signed one with the Excel Centre to be our training partner as well. So everyone's on board to actually start bringing everyone into this industry and start setting the standard as we go forward.
Is there a criticism of more academic institutions in the events industry that they offer very good academic pathways from a theoretical standpoint, but very limited connection with the actual hands-on events industry? Is this, part of the reason to drive courses like this?
Absolutely, and I think that's, not to discredit, obviously, the academic institutions at all, because they do a fantastic job and give some of those foundational skills. But actually what we're trying to do is deliver more hands-on, immersive training, which is based more in real life, real-world situations, specifically in corporate production management. There isn't really many courses out there, or if any, that really focus on what we do as production managers in that particular space. So absolutely, that's what we're trying to do, is bridge that gap between what you've learned at an institution into real-world practice.
And there's in wider education now, there's always continued talk of vocational learning. It will take a huge overhaul to change it permanently and in the manner that I think a lot of people would want to see it changed. But I think it's fair to say that there is a generalised thinking now in education that obviously not every young person is going to be conditioned for the traditional academic pathways. And over the last 20 years, we've probably seen more vocational opportunities come into, present themselves as opportunities for young people. And I know that I work as a freelancer doing production in the events industry, and I've been doing that for 16 years this year. And everything that I did yesterday on my job, I probably learned at some point on a job in the last 16 years. I have got a bit of a live music background. I love playing musical instruments and plugging amplifiers and stuff in when I was a teenager. So I had like a basic understanding of that. But a lot of my learning came later and on the job. So this strikes me as a real opportunity to take advantage of some of those young people who've got that desire to want to be hands-on and learn, and give them the opportunity to do so.
Yeah, I think it's twofold really, because you've got people who either hands-on and want to be able to educate themselves and move into an industry which frankly they probably didn't know about.
Yeah.
So we're trying to do that, but we're also trying to build that network for them. You're freelance production manager. Not only have you probably learnt that experience over that 16 years, that work probably came from your network as well. So we're trying to give access to people as well. So we're running tonight, we're running our first supplier night with TSL. So that's about bringing new people who have signed up for the course and coming there, introduce them to the right suppliers, a bigger group of production managers. So we're building networks for them, we're building that education and giving them a pathway into our industry.
And it's going to be great. When I think about any job that I've done, you can trace it back, can't you? You can kind of go, oh yeah, I did that job for them because they knew that person, and I did that for them, and they happened to be doing a venue walk around when I was working for somebody else. And you can kind of, in this industry, really sort of trace your pathway back, not just, for the last few jobs, but I can do mine for years and years. And it's exciting to think that you've got young people maybe coming into these things that in 10 years' time can trace their pathway back to this.
Absolutely, I think so. It's really good. I still remember my mentor when I first came in about 20 years ago, and she taught me everything I knew about events, and I still use that now today. And I think that's what we're trying to do is give those foundation skills. Those foundation level skills are so important. When you've got the basis for that, anything you can do, on the job, as you say, you get different jobs. They're so varied, but you always go back to those foundation level skills.
Yeah. And when we talk about foundation level skills, what sort of person are you looking for? Let's look at actually some of the criteria. Is it age specific, first of all, the course?
No, not age specific, and we've been asked this question a lot, especially with people who are career switchers, people who actually look at our industry and go, actually, I fancy doing that. What's my barrier to entry? And we speak to them and say, actually, don't let that hold you back. You can absolutely come into this industry at any age. All you really need is a can-do attitude. And as long as you've got that, everything else can be taught. Obviously, attention to detail helps.
Yeah. You've got to be a certain type of character, haven't you?
You have, but I think ultimately you have to be that. It's got to be driven by passion. This industry isn't about a career without passion. It's about, actually, I love this industry, and everyone we work with has that in them. Whilst yes, they may work much more than the 40 hours of a standard work week for most of the population, but not one of them complain about that. They go, actually, I just love what I do.
Yeah. I forget the exact statistic, but I remember reading a few years ago about how young people today, particularly graduates, sort of typical graduate age, 21, 22 years old, coming into the workplace now, the days of people having a job for like 25, 30 years are gone. Those careers do exist, but the way that young people are nowadays, just because of their attention spans and things like that, I think there's a statistic that most people, will have X amount of jobs, be it 10 or a dozen jobs in their lifetime. Does that affect your way of thinking at all when you're planning a course like this? Do you have to consider what sort of social trends may be in place with young people?
To a degree, but I think actually in this industry, careers it's not like a ladder. It's more like a climbing wall. You're moving across, you're going up, you're down, backwards, horizontally, before you kind of keep moving up. So I think actually, Joe mentioned it, some of these courses are aimed at, yes, the newbies, but also career switchers, people that have got some events knowledge but kind of just want to go in a slightly different direction. So we do take that into account for sure, but these are foundation level skills. So actually it's the bread and butter, it's the basis of which you can then jump on and move about.
I think I actually sort of slightly disagree, because I think the events industry is a career for life, because there's so many opportunities within it, and you can come in as local crew and be a exec producer in 22 completely different roles, but because you've got that and you learn what an event is, or you can be a managing director, or you can be an account manager, or you can be all of these things which are completely different, which align with your life as you go through. One thing we do at the production department is support all of our staff if they have kids and whatever. We're like, right, here's a new role for you, and this might be for not your ideal for the next couple of years, but it's something that will keep you employed and keep you busy and keep your foot in. So when you're ready, you can then come back in and start in the events industry on site, all the fun, all the locations, etc., etc. So yeah.
At what stage in the course do you tell people to be prepared for long hours,
Day one,
busy weeks, not seeing daylight sometimes for 4 or 5, 6 days on end?
We do a first module.
Here we go. We're in a live event announcement, situation. Everybody, is there somebody parked illegally? It sounds like a registration announcement.
I hope it's not me.
Oh gosh.
There's another thing that nobody ever tells you is if you can speak even remotely clearly, at some point on an event, somebody will say, "Can you quickly get that mic and do an announcement?"
Yeah. I'm lucky. I've got a South East London accent, so I never get that.
Throw that into the course. If anybody if you can speak well and project down a microphone, you will be called upon to announce that somebody's parked outside the fire doors where they shouldn't be. To your question, we set the outline from day one. So we do a first 3 to a 10 module, which I explain what an agency is, what the corporate event industry is, what an event agency is, where they come in, where the clients come in, and generally what to expect. And even go through wage scales from a full-time roles to freelance pay scales, etc. Just to really set that tone from the outset of, we're open and honest, this is what it is. Yes, it's hard work, but it's so rewarding. That I speak to school dads on school runs, and they go, "What do you do?" And I say, "This is what I do," and they go, "Wow, I sit at a desk." Yeah. I mean, there is that thing about it, I love doing what I'm doing. I'm my own boss, and it's taken me a long time to sort of get to a stage where I'm get comfortable and there's work in the diary all the time. But I love doing different things every day. That's one of the main reasons that I love working in this industry. The challenge of doing what I'm doing, I'm recording podcasts today. Tomorrow I'm looking at some venues for another event. Yesterday I was working as a PM for a conference. So every day is different, and that's part of the challenge for me, and why I would get absolutely bored. And I guess that's probably a common thing amongst anybody who works in this industry, is that they like that different challenge every day. They don't want the mundane nature of going into the same job every day.
I think from the production department's perspective, our retention rate is phenomenal. It's up in the 90%.
Wow.
And we've been operating 5 years. People who started with us, employee number 1 is still with us, for example. Although it's a contentious issue because someone else thinks they're employee number 1 and they wasn't.
There's a debate about employee number 1,
yeah.
right? Okay.
But,
They fight over it.
yeah, but ultimately, they're there. But I think that's attributed to the variety that we're able to offer.
Yeah.
Because we're able to go, okay, tomorrow you're going to Amsterdam to do this. Next week you're going off to work in this car park. Next week after that you're going to go in this exhibition centre. And every single one is a challenge. It's something to go, oh, how do I do this? And we're there to support them and nurture them to help them grow.
I'm curious to ask, Fran, about the sort of the structure of the course and whether or not is it entirely fixed, so it's the same for everybody, or do they reach a certain point where they can choose sort of certain pathways? How is the actual course structured?
Well, the course itself it's modular based, so you'll have, for example, one on fundamentals in audiovisual, which we run with creative technology.
Yep.
So they're sort of day workshops. They can be done independently, but actually, if you do all of them, there's 9 across the whole piece. The idea being is that as you do all 9 of them, you can come out almost at the level of a junior production manager, knowing kind of everything you need to know.
Yeah.
So it's horses for courses. There's that you can just go and zone in on a particular element that you want, or you can do the whole lot.
And I think just where it comes when you talk about universities, so some of the university degrees from my experience really concentrate on the project management side of things, give a little bit of a foundational level, and then we're there to supplement that. So in an ideal world, and we're going through the process at the moment of being able to get the whole bank of modules accredited, so you can then become in our eyes, a training department accredited junior production manager. So
Right.
we're working with different agencies to try and see if they'll be on a board of accreditors, working with a continued professional development point system, and then actually get this accredited. We're here to help set that standard of the industry.
That's an interesting point to raise, because this industry is built on freelancers, isn't it? It's built on people who job from place to place, and in some respects, you get jobs because people know and trust you. They've been recommended from somewhere else. For people, if you were just going in cold to a new client, there's not really much to actually dictate or say or give some sort of guarantee or vouch for you that you've got a certain level of training and experience that gives you the credibility and the qualification, I suppose, in a way to actually do that job. So actually, it is the intention to project to the wider events industry this qualification. When people see it, they think, we can trust that person.
Absolutely. Yeah, and it's also about giving those people the opportunity to do that, like you say, because it is so based on reputation and networking. It's actually really difficult to break into the industry in the first place, and so this course will absolutely help do that and give you a first foot in the door. And because we're doing not just training, it's that social community aspect. We're also then helping people network and find opportunities and jobs, and that's what we're committed to doing.
Yeah, in some respects, it's a classic chicken and egg situation, because people want people with experience, but you can only get experience if somebody takes a chance on you and gives you a job, which is for a young person. And that's why you often maybe see, I didn't come into the industry properly until I was 30 years old. I'd already had, a career doing advertising and marketing and other stuff, and I came into it by accident, by helping some people on a job, doing a little bit of media stuff, and then the next year it was, well, can you do this, but can you also do that? And then the next year it was, can you also do this and take on a bit more? And it evolved from there. So I'd have loved to, I've no regrets, but I'd love to have been able to sort of rewind 25 years and something like this be available.
Yeah.
So somebody can really read it and go, that really speaks to me.
Yeah.
Because another point then, how are you kind of promoting this? How are you hoping that young people see and find out about
So
the
we've been
course?
working with various different bodies. So we worked last year with Production Futures. We're now working with the Elevate Mentoring Programme. We're sponsoring one member of the Next Gen program within the Elevate Mentoring Programme to come in. We're sponsoring them each. We're working with all the different agencies that we work with anyway from the production department. So we're really trying to get these people in, and then we're promoting and promoting and promoting. We're just trying to get as many people in as possible. Our aim is I think it's 20 for this year to get
20.
through the courses. It's a big ask, I'm not going to lie, but as we grow, we'll continue to do that. We're working on online modules as well, so we can actually reduce the barrier to entry. Actually, probably now's a good time that we've released a code which is EPS 200. which
EPS 200. We'll put that in the description below the
Thank
podcast
you.
as well.
Which is £200 off each module as you go. So it's a nice, good 50% off for anyone attending.
Just on sort of the financial aspect of it then, is there an opportunity for people who might be, because you said there's no age limit on it, restrictive as such, so is it possible that you will explore the option of companies effectively sponsoring staff to come on this who might have done what I've done, which is just learned on the job, but now they're going to go back and get some actually qualified experience?
That's exactly what we're seeing. A lot of agencies are doing that. They're getting their junior members of staff in there. I was with a group of young founders yesterday, last night, who are up for sponsoring people to do the whole course, individual. So as an industry, the more and more people I speak to, the more and more people are like, yeah, I'm in, I'll invest, because exactly your experience, James, everyone wanted this years ago, so why hasn't it been done? I don't know, but let's just do it.
EPS 200 is the code. Where do they need to go? How do they sort of find out about you? Let's start giving out some actual contact details.
So go to thetrainingdept.live, and make sure we'll put that in the
we'll put that
in the blurb as well.
But
if you go on there, you can see all 9 courses that are available. The next one coming up is the end-to-end event management, done here at the Excel on the 26th of March. So come and join.
And let's just clarify that. The training depth, so that would be DEPT at the end.
DEPT.
The training DEPT.live.
Yeah, someone nicked the training department.
Oh, well, you'll find. They'll crop up in a year's time.
Yeah.
We'll sell you this domain.
Yeah.
No
it's going to cost a lot of money, I'm sure.
It's going to cost a lot of money. We need somebody to sponsor that. Just find a company who's willing to back that one. Thanks very much to my guests today, Fran, Starkie and Joe Chilvers. And as I said, all the links and bits of information that the guys are giving out today will be in the description and stuff underneath today's podcast. If you're watching the video version, you may of course be tuned into the audio version of this podcast today. If you have, thank you very much for doing so and listening to us today. Please remember to like and subscribe wherever you're listening to this from, whether it's on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. And if you are listening, please do remember to take a few minutes to head over to eventindustrynews.com, where you can find the video versions of all of our podcasts. And if you've listened to this today, head over to the website so that you can see those links that we've spoken about today and check the guys out. So it just remains for me to say thank you once again to our very kind hosts, Evolution Dome, to Ash Austin and all the team at Evo Dome. We're on their stand at Confex 2026 in one of their lovely little inflatable meeting pods. So do check those guys out. Just search Evolution Dome and look at some of the amazing structures and inflatable stuff that they do. Fantastic, great to use, modular stuff. I mean, they're funky, aren't they?
They're
Pretty groovy
great.
space to record a podcast. And thanks very much for everybody for tuning in today, and we'll see you soon. Goodbye.